Welcome back to the Spirit Squared podcast. I'm Andrew Darrington, your host. Tonight we're here at the Beckham Hotel. Thanks so much to the Beckham Hotel for letting us join in harmony here. And it's going to be so much fun tonight talking with our guest. But first, we definitely want to thank our podcast sponsors. Hoot and Holler, thank you so much for sponsoring us. Rex Consulting, Vault Arms, Humidor. Ray Plunkett's here tonight. Thank you so much for sponsoring us. And Thomas and Martha Red, thank you guys so much for sponsoring us. You were our first sponsors. And thank you for seeing our vision. We have some new friends. The Hollands are here tonight. Thank you all so much, the virgins of the podcast crew here. I've got my son here, Nathan. Thank you so much for coming too. So, Amanda, we're not going to leave you out.
Oh, thanks.
Yes, you're the maverick of the group. It's just a pun. All right, before we introduce our guests, let's talk about what we're having first. I guess we should. Our guest is Suerte, North Texas Suerte rep, Jono Smith. So obviously we're starting out with Suerte Blanco.
Yes.
Right? All of our guests have Suerte Blanco. And Jono, let's have a little pour. Now, just keep in mind, this isn't shooting tequila, right?
We're not kidding if you want. I mean, I'm not here to judge.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll just get started. Yeah, this is our Blanco, but that's the question I get asked all the time, right? Is it made for mixing, sipping, or shooting? The answer is it's made as traditionally as possible, right? It's Tahana Crush, Rick Oven Cook, Native Free. So it's made to be sipped, but it's priced that you can drink it, sip it, do whatever you want. I mean, you don't have to feel guilty about it. So there's no right or wrong way to drink it.
Yeah, for sure. So, Jono, where do you call home?
Dallas.
Dallas?
Yep.
Cool. And how did you get into being a Suerte rep? Seems like a pretty cool job.
It's a dream job for me. I love it. I tell people I've got the best job in the world. How I got started, I worked at Specs. I was there. I was kind of the beer guy, and I worked my way up to the spirits guy, and then I went to management, and I was like, this is as fun as spirits. So back to being the spirits guy. And then I got into distribution, working for the company that actually distributes Suerte, and I was responsible for all 14 total wines in DFW. And then one day when I was at the warehouse, one of my coworkers was like, hey, do you want to have a conversation with Suerte? And I was like, yeah, about what? And he was like, a job, you idiot. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Did you not hear the first time? So I was really lucky that they just had faith in me and brought me on. They kind of took a chance on me because there were some bits of the industry that I didn't have the experience that you would typically hire for this role. But they were like, we can't teach passion. They're like, you clearly got a ton of passion. You clearly love this brand. So they brought me on, and it's actually 1 year today ago was my very first day. So
yeah, happy anniversary.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah. So our friend John Dixon helped him get on with the Suerte. Some shout out to John. Having it 1 year. It's awesome, man.
I love it.
It's fun. So talk to us a little bit about the distillery. Let's talk about the past. Where did it start, and who started it, and how did it kind of get its roots?
So it goes back to our master distiller is Pedro Barba. He is a lawyer by trade.
Okay.
And so he inherited some family land, and they decided to build a distillery. Unfortunately, because he's a lawyer.
He's a lawyer and he inherited land. I don't know if I should like him.
Yeah, well, you should.
Hold on.
Great guy.
Tell me about him.
Great guy. And so, he didn't know how to really market a brand. And so they built a distillery. They made a couple different brands. But one, it's really hard to sell product to Mexico. And two, he didn't know how to market it. And so all four of the brands kind of failed. So in 2013, our two founders, Lance and Lawrence, were they were big agave enthusiasts. And so they were kind of thinking, how cool would it be to have our own brand? And they ended up getting linked up with Pedro because he was looking for an export partner for his product at the time. Since, he was basically got Suerte was created, or they were about to create it, but he was looking to create another brand that he could sell in the U.S. versus just a Mexico brand. So owners came along, they met up, and he was making tequila exactly the way that they wanted to make tequila. And so they narrowed it down to about 5 different names, and they liked Suerte the best. They're like, obviously that's the best name, but it's obviously already taken. Lawyers came back and like, no, it's available. And so that was just the end of the discussion right there, because it was luck that they had met each other and that everything came to be, and it was really just luck that their circumstance led to the brand being able to be what it is. And so we say, why not just lead with that name?
Yeah.
So that's where the name came from, and that's how the distillery came to be.
And the reason why there's a rabbit on me.
The rabbit. So yeah,
Kind of.
Yeah, I'll give you the condensed version of why it was a rabbit. We say rabbits discovered tequila. We perfected it because the story goes that there was an agave farmer's wife out front one day, and across from their house there was a field of rabbits, around 400. That word's important. And the rabbits were all going real extra crazy, dancing a little more than normal, and they kept going back and forth to this agave plant. So the farmer's wife went out there and was leaking fermented agave. And so she collected some, took it back, and distilled it, became known as the goddess of tequila and mezcal. But we say, the rabbits were the ones who discovered it. They were basically getting drunk off the fermented agave. So that's why we put the rabbit on it. But that's why there's also, you'll see it kind of throughout tequila and mezcal, there's 400 conejos. That's why they have the rabbits. There's Magenta, that's why they have the rabbit. But it's funny, people don't really know that story, get told that story and not. So within our rabbit, you got all these different symbols, and they're kind of different symbols of traditional luck. So you've got the ace of spades, you've got the star, you got the 400 for the 400 rabbits, you got the crown, you got the diamond, you got the neck bone for the Dia de los Muertes, you got the obvious rabbit's foot, you got the agave, and then our Jono wheel. So it's kind of everything about our brand and the luck and everything we could put into that rabbit really encompasses what we try to be. So we think, little liquid luck never hurt.
Right. So you just got back from Guadalajara.
Yep.
And from that zone, where is it made?
It's in Tontonilco, so it's an hour and a half east of Guadalajara.
Okay.
A lot of the other brands are kind of west.
Northwest.
Yeah. Our really cool town. It's about 30,000 people. There's Siete Leguas and the original Patron factory are there. There's also outside of town, there's the Casamigos and Don Julio factories as well. So it's really cool because driving into town, it's a stark difference between our distilleries because when you're driving in, you pass the Don Julio factory, there's like 40 cement trucks out front or dump trucks that are just filled with agave.
Right.
And there's just waiting to be processed, waiting to go. It's kind of like, wow, that's a lot of agave. And we get 2 of those trucks a week. So it's just fun that you kind of get to pass the big guys, and then you go to our small distillery in the town because it's small enough to fit. So it's a really cool location. It's a really small little town.
Yeah, for sure. Is that the original location of the distillery?
Yep.
Or was it something that they moved or changed or added on?
They built it. So the reason it's there is because Pedro's family had been in the agave business. And so kind of around our property is some agave that they actually would sell and stuff like that. And that's why they decided, hey, since we've got this land, we're already producing agave, why don't we make a distillery and try and make our own tequila? Yeah. So that's why that distillery is there. The really cool part is when they were processing the land over, they actually dug up the volcanic rock that we turned into our Tohono wheel. So we actually found our Tohono on site, and we're like, no, we're going to use that to actually make the production.
Talk to me, what is a Tohono wheel?
It is a stone wheel. So a Tohono is the whole entire kind of like pit and where all the tequila is made. The Tohono wheel is what crushes the agave. It's made out of volcanic stone. They weigh like 4,000 pounds. And so it's, when you see like a cartoon of a caveman wheel, it's like that. It literally looks like one of those out of a cartoon. And it just goes on a mechanized automated system that crushes the agave. So we basically shred the agave, put it in a pit, and the stone wheel comes around and it presses the agave and it presses all the juice out of it. So we do that because it's the traditional way to do it, but we also feel it gives it a really specific mouthfeel. So it's like when you drink Suerte, it's not just like a quick one and done, it's immediately gone. Like you actually can sit there and taste it, and it sits on your tongue, you can feel it in your cheeks, you get a really bright, vibrant flavor profile because of it.
What about more vibrance?
Yeah, but we don't distill with the fibers. Yeah, but it's that's where you get kind of that mouthfeel is from the Tohono crushing.
Yeah, gotcha.
It takes a long time. It's not really an efficient way to do it.
No,
but
I watched it.
Yeah, and that's why for comparison, it takes the big guys. They can probably do a batch of tequila in like 8 hours. Yeah, it takes us 5 days. So, and that's just because it's such a slow traditional process. Yeah. We cook in the ovens for 2.5 days. So it's a really long process.
So how many agaves are we talking about in an oven?
Man, I've asked this question a bunch of times and I always forget.
Yeah.
I have the sheet somewhere around here, but I think it's
12. I haven't seen a sheet.
I think 12 pounds of agave.
I haven't seen a sheet.
1 liter. I know, it's in the car. I say it right here. But I think 12 pounds of agave make 1 liter. And so it's, for reference, that you put a bunch of agave in. And right now, because we've introduced our 1 liter for bars and restaurants, we are just basically cooking around the clock.
Right. It's 24/7.
Yeah, it's 5 days a week that we're
Oh, it's 5 days.
that we're cooking.
Gotcha.
They work at the distillery 6 days, but we have like 5 tanks. So we can basically start a new tank every day and then have one buffer day.
Yeah.
In between.
Anybody here been to a tequila distillery? Been to one? Yeah. So I've been to one, and I mean the cookers, you can stand up in them, and they fill them to the brim.
Yes, that's really cool. Is we have 2 brick ovens, and one of them last year was not working. So I literally got to go in last May, and I'm standing in the middle of the oven. And then when I went there last month, it is full of agave. They're loading it to be cooked, and so that's we've ramped up production times too because just having that second cooker available.
And an agave plant, once it's harvested, weighs a pretty good bit, right?
They're not light. They can be small, but they tend to be really good size. And
Yeah.
the thing, you go to
At least 5 pounds more.
Oh,
Probably more.
a lot more.
10 more.
Yeah,
10 or more.
easy. I'd say a small agave is probably 15 pounds.
Okay.
That's a small one.
Yeah.
So the big ones, it's funny, you don't want to grab them right on. You kind of got to go around them because what's on them, it'll make you itch really bad. I don't know what it is, but it's
Yeah.
kinda
Everybody's wearing long sleeves, and
that's why. Yeah, I didn't realize that. It's not really because of the sun. It's so because of the protein.
Isn't it wheelbarrow arm men?
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much all day.
Yep.
Yeah. And
it's
there's
hard.
one guy in it.
Yeah.
Like he's in the cauldron. They're just loading it up.
Yeah. So the way we do it is
Looks like a Walmart truck.
what's the assembly line almost?
Yeah.
So we used to quarter them by hand with machetes, and then one day someone cut their leg, and so Pedro actually built this really cool like hydraulic press that quarters the agave. And so one person puts it in, slams it, it quarters, throws it down, and the next guy picks up with a pitchfork and loads it in the oven.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's all by hand.
Yeah.
It's a really cool traditional process.
Yeah, for cool. All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to talk a little bit about planning and sourcing when we come back.
Cool.
We're going to pass out a couple more samples to our audience here, and we'll be back here in about 5-10 minutes.
More Suerte, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, podcast listeners, are you in need of some top-notch libations to elevate your next gathering? Look no further than Hoot and Holler Liquor Store in Gun Barrel City, your go-to liquor store for quality drinks. From smooth bourbons to crisp wines and everything in between, Hoot and Holler has one of the largest and most diverse selections in East Texas. Planning a special occasion? Let our experts guide you to the perfect bottle. You'll receive excellent customer service not offered in the big box chains. Visit Hoot and Holler today and let the good times flow.
Are you looking to optimize your drilling rig operations and maximize productivity? Look no further. Rex Consulting is here to power your drilling. With over 20 years of industry experience, our expert team provides tailored solutions that drive efficiency, safety, and profitability. From site assessments to cutting-edge technology integration, Rex Consulting is your trusted partner for land-based and offshore oil and gas drilling solutions. Ready to take your rig to the next level? Contact Rex Consulting today and send your operations to the next level in operational performance. Contact Josh Simmons at 918-637-9181. Rex Consulting, level up.
Vault Arms is your premier destination for all things firearms. Extensive selection of handguns, rifles, shotguns, and accessories. Knowledgeable staff to assist you in finding the perfect firearm to fit your needs. State-of-the-art gun range equipped with the latest technology for a safe and thrilling shooting experience. Take advantage of our professional shooting instruction and training programs suitable for all skill levels. Host your next group outing, corporate event, or bachelor party at our spacious and secure shooting facility. Committed to promoting responsible gun ownership and firearm safety. Fully licensed and compliant with all state and federal regulations.
Okay. All right, we're back with Jono.
Smith.
Yes.
John Smith.
John Smith. We've got the Suerte Reposado this time. So rested was mean. A little bit in a French oak barrel, or is it oak barrel?
For the Reposado, it's a used whiskey barrel.
Whiskey barrel.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. You guys got a unique process for aging
glad you asked.
Yes.
So when I got,
I may know the story.
yeah, so what
I want others to know.
I'm really nerdy about spirits, right? I love to know I love what I do. I say every day that, like, my hobby is my job. I'm really lucky, like, it's epitome of you don't work a day in your life, you love what you do, right? So when I first got hired, one of the things I asked was, what type of used whiskey barrels are we using? And it was like, we can't tell you, which makes you think like it's an NDA thing, right? Like, we literally can't tell you. We went down to the distillery and we pull up and there's a guy out front and there's like 4 whiskey barrels and they're so fresh that there are bees hanging around the bunkholes.
Yeah.
And so, like, I get, everyone else kind of looking at everything else and I immediately focus on that. And there's a guy breaking down a barrel. And so I begin to ask, like, what is this process? Well, this guy is basically our on-site cooperage. So we buy barrels on the market. We buy 300 or 400 in bulk from a broker. And then this guy goes through and breaks down every single barrel and pulls out the best pieces of wood and builds a whole new barrel. And so when we say we don't know what type of used whiskey barrel is, we literally can't tell you, because it could be like 6 different whiskey barrels made up into a whole new one.
Is there a prominent distiller?
Can't say.
Can't
It's
say.
just whatever good.
I know Jack's well.
Probably. I mean, if you're a big distillery and you've got barrels to offload, which more do now than ever.
Yeah.
So it's a whole mix, but I've gone through the barrel room and there is a single barrel that has like a existing barrel head on it. Yeah. They're all rebuilt barrels, which is really cool, because when I present single barrel samples, typically with like bourbon or a lot of other distilleries, there's kind of like a sandbox you're playing in. They taste different, but it's a profile. With ours, you can taste 6 different barrels and they taste like 6 different ways.
Just did that.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday we did a barrel pick.
Yep.
Where we're buying a whole barrel and we're sampling it, and like one is generationally different than the other.
Yep.
And both of them have their benefits and their drawbacks too. So that's I can attest.
That's the cool part. When I do a demo, I never meet someone who like doesn't like one thing. Maybe you don't love the Blanco, but you love the Repo. Right. Maybe you're like, I'm not crazy about the Blanco or the Repo, and then you get to the Añejo and you're like, this is great.
All right.
It's literally, I've never met someone who isn't in love with something that we make, which is really cool. Which comes back to, I don't know if I talked about this earlier, but we're, Tahona Crush, brick oven cooked, 100% agave, but it's the only product we make at our distillery. And that's really important. That's really rare, because there's like 250 registered distilleries now, and there's one distillery that makes like 200 brands. And so for us to be doing Tahona Crush, brick oven, and it's the only thing we make, we're one of 6 distilleries who qualify for that. So we're making kind of, and that's when I explain to people, kind of trying to sell them on the product and introduce them to it, is explain we're really high quality, but we're trying to be available at an affordable price.
Helping them categorize. Isn't Fortaleza in that?
They are. Yep. Fortaleza, Patron, Siete Leguas, Volcan, and there's one other brand like no one's ever heard of. Those make up the 6 distilleries that I know of, and I've gone and looked to see if there were any more, and those are the only 6 I can come up with.
Right.
So that's when I say, like, we don't taste like Fortaleza, we don't taste like Siete Leguas, but they don't taste like each other. Right. Because when you make tequila the way we do, batch to batch can be different. Yeah. Pedro's really good. Like, Pedro's a master of his craft. And just side tangent, like, we came out with a batch reposado lately that was a little bit darker than the previous batches, and I tasted them side by side. I was trying to find a difference, and they were like exactly the same. And it was like, cool, we've introduced new wood, and Pedro has found a way to still blend that to taste like the traditional reposado that customers are used to. Right. So it's just, that's the easiest way to kind of explain into context, though, because people have heard of those brands. They recognize the quality that they're putting out. And so it just kind of is the easy way to establish, hey, here's what we're doing. And then our price is typically like half the cost.
Right.
So
your Blanco starts around 35, 36, right?
35. You can still find some shops that they kind of have the old price of 30, 32.
Yeah.
But and those are like killer price, absolutely grab the bottle. But like 35 is what you should expect to pay.
Right.
You shouldn't expect to pay more, but 35 is
for a tequila that takes 5 days to make.
Yeah, and Tahona Crush, only thing we make. It's a really good product.
Yeah.
I always say I was a fanboy before they started paying my bills. Like, it's a really cool brand. It's a really cool product. It's a really cool distillery. I love everything about it. So to be able to you can walk into like any specs and they've probably got a bottle available on the shelf.
Yeah, that's the other thing I like about it is you don't have to ask for what's behind the counter.
Yeah.
it's not like blends.
Yeah.
Like, hey, well, and then you have some store owner lie to you about them having some behind the counter. Or,
Yep.
Fortaleza in the case of tequila.
Yeah.
They may only get, a case or two or three. And if they put it on the shelves, it's gone in a couple minutes as Facebook is blowing up.
Yep.
It goes viral. And otherwise, they're hiding it, and they're rewarding their best customers, or the loyalty customers, or the ones that have the most points.
Yep.
So I love the fact that you have it on the shelf.
Yeah, well, that's going back to Fortaleza. I used to have to talk people into that brand. I used to have to, be sitting on the shelf, and I'd have to explain to them why it was such a great brand that they should take home and try. And so it's just, I'm really happy for Fortaleza, and I hope eventually we have the problems they have.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be really cool. But our whole thing is we don't intend to, raise prices or have any kind of production issues. Like, we're really lucky that we are able to. Pedro, again, being the master of his craft, has really methodically built out the way that we can produce tequila and that we can build this brand. So it's really cool that I can go out and confidently say, we've got a really great product and it's available. Yeah. If you want to buy it, we're making enough of it that you can go out and drink it. And again, you can do it. You want to make a batch of margaritas, batch of margaritas, and it's not going to cost you a whole lot.
Yeah, I think the bigger problem is like getting the store owners to like put it on the shelf, or have the bar put it on the shelf and understand the value on it. I know you converted one of the local, the Plaid Rabbit, to start serving some of those as their bar tequila.
Yeah.
And I think that's, as time goes on, those conversions will happen.
Absolutely.
We had conversations today with a local business that they're like, hey, probably should put this on the shelf somewhere.
Yep. And that, I'm the brand rep, so I'm the biased guy coming in telling you we've got a great product, here's why you should. But I'm bad at selling things I don't believe in.
Yeah.
Right. And so I really believe in this brand. I love everything about it. So I feel confident when I walk into a bar and say, hey, we've got this really great product. I think it would be great for, your cocktails, if you got the opportunity. And they can taste it and they'll be like, this is awesome.
Yeah, at the price point, they can use it as a well if they want to. And what an upgrade it would be from like Juarez or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about planting and sourcing. So did you get a chance to go out in the fields and take a look around and walk us through that process and how it may be different? Or
So cutting down an agave is extremely hard. They make it look super easy, but we basically took turns, and it took like 4 or 5 of us. And at the end, we were like, well, Pedro, you want to get over here and finish cut this thing down? Like, it's not an easy task at all, and they make it look effortless. But we try to buy what agave we can, basically, from Pedro's family, but they don't produce enough to basically meet all our demands. So we buy Highland agave. We buy, because we're in the Highlands.
Yeah.
So that is the difference between us and a lot of the other kind of traditional 100% agave additive free brands is we're a Highlands brand, where a lot of them tend to be lowlands.
Yeah.
So it's a different flavor profile. I love lowlands tequila as well.
I do too.
So when I would tell people, I learned when I worked at Specs, it was really hard to convert someone from like Casamigos to a lowland tequila, because it's kind of like introducing them to hose water after they've had something really sweet. I mean, that's the easiest way. I used to be like, it's really minerality. And they're like, what do you mean?
Right.
And I was like, well, you ever had hose water? It's instantly, exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so with our brand being a Highland agave, and we also stainless steel tank for 2 months, because it grows in the Highlands, it's naturally a higher sugar content. And so it's got a sweeter profile. And so we really are a great kind of bridge into the 100% agave world from some of those sweeter brands, because it's not just really herbaceous and really minerality. There's some, I always describe it as citrus, sweetness, but it doesn't have any burn. It's not an artificial sweetness. And so that's a lot attributed basically just to the Highland agave and the stainless steel tanking process that we go through. So with the agave we buy, agave prices have kind of plummeted. People don't realize this over the last year. It used to be like 30 pesos for a kilogram of really good agave, and now it's down to like 5. So we can basically buy really good agave and continue to put out a really good product and not raise the price. So we're pretty proud to be able to do that and just say that. So, but I mean, that's basically where all of our agave comes from. We get what we can from the family, and everything else we buy the highest quality possible.
Yeah. What about planning?
Planning we do. We've got our whole distillery has got I'd say agave that we planted probably in the last like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And we have some other source of products of planting, so it's in the family business.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Really important to us to keep that conservation going and keep that product alive, because again, that's why we got into it in the first place.
Yeah.
That's where Pedro's family was coming from. So,
are you guys mostly just producing for the United States now?
yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It's we're in 17 or 18 states.
Okay, so fairly new.
Yeah, we've been around for 12 years. I think this will be 13.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we're based in Colorado. We do a ton of business in Colorado. And
Really?
Yeah, that's where our founder is from and based out of.
Okay.
So we have 8 employees. Our team is growing, but as of today, we've got 8 employees. 6 are in Colorado.
Wow.
So there's me in Texas, and then there's my buddy Josh in California.
Okay.
And that's it. That's the whole company. And then down at the store, you've got like 10 to 12 employees. So we're 20, 22 people,
Right.
for the whole nation, between the U.S. and Mexico. So it's a pretty small team, but we're proud of what we do.
Yeah. So, what was the vision for just producing for the United States? Are you at maximum capacity in the states that you guys are in? Is there an idea to possibly branch out?
We can sell more. Obviously, we love to be in every state, but it's, where do you have distribution? Where do you have distribution partners? With the ever-changing landscape, it's a little tougher. So I think
It's changed a lot in the last 3 years.
Yeah, it continues to change every day. So with us, it's focusing on where we have markets, where we kind of have people supporting the brand, but also we entered Kentucky last year, and when I went down for a bourbon trip, it was everywhere. Like every new store, every stop that I went into, they're like, oh yeah, we just brought it in. So places that it kind of gets introduced to, it hits the ground running. So it's really cool when I go out to bars and restaurants.
Right on like a hair.
He takes a burn like a hair, exactly. It's a Texas hair. So when I go to bars and restaurants, I was in a place yesterday and asked the guy, and he's like, "The one with the rabbit on it?" I was like, "Yes, absolutely." So it's kind of cool that it feels like we're getting that brand recognition. It's starting to grow.
Gotcha. What efforts are being made to get it in front of other than what you're doing? Do you guys have marketing ads or?
Oh yeah. So we won a lot of awards last year.
I'm sure you don't have Aaron Rodgers on your.
We do not. No celebrity endorsement.
No.
But I mean, we entered a lot of awards last year, and we took home a ton of awards. So like our Reposado, I think everything placed at least silver at San Francisco Spirit Awards.
Awesome.
But I think I know the Reposado was our double gold winner when it comes to the spirits, which is there's only one higher up award you can get. It's best of class. Basically, everything from double gold goes on to compete. So we won a ton of awards. Same with our RTDs, which we'll get to later. But ton of awards, center press. We're always running kind of some specials on our website. So if you live in a state where Suerte isn't distributed, you can keep an eye out. And we typically run some pretty good promos, especially if you put in your birthday. We'll send you a sweet little, I think it's 40% off for your birthday.
Wow.
Could be wrong, but
40%.
Yeah, definitely worth signing up. We've got a VIP club called Buena Suerte. So you get kind of first access to some of the single barrels that we put out. So we did a couple of those for Black Friday that customers got a crack at first before we put them out to the general public. So we have a marketing lady. Her name is Leslie. She's an absolute wizard. Like, she really, anything I need, she gets back to me like same day. So she's really good on focused marketing. So if you have a Facebook advertisement and you click on it, you'll probably get it again. It was just the way that she did. And I was like, Leslie, you are incredible at what you do.
So
yeah, if you've ever seen Suerte, any kind of marketing, it's been from her.
Very cool.
So, and that's our owner's whole background is marketing too. So that's kind of, where the rabbit design comes from. You want to make sure it's a brand that stands out.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to take one more break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about additive-free, why that's important, and we're also going to touch into CRT. So we'll take a quick break, and we're gonna pour the Añejo next.
Let's go.
That'll be fun. More Suerte.
Suerte.
Yes. Cool.
The Humidor is your online cigar retailing headquarters. Our experienced staff has spent years finding some of the best cigars from around the world to sell to our customers. If you're looking for an online cigar store that can help you find your next favorite smoke, welcome to the Humidor. We began the humidor because of our deep appreciation of the finer things in life, a good conversation with friends, an aged whiskey, and, of course, a fine smoke. That's why, in addition to selling premium cigars online, we also operate a brick-and-mortar cigar lounge in Tyler, Texas. Our lounge is crafted to provide a classic ambience with modern sensibilities, and we've spent time ensuring that smokers and non-smokers have an enjoyable experience, whether they're there for a drink with friends or to enjoy the game.
If you are looking for a reputable builder with a proven track record and a client base to back it up, give Red Construction and Development LLC a call. Red Construction offers full design build services for new construction, custom homes, and remodeling with free site evaluations. They have an A+ rating with the BBB and are proud members of the Tyler Area Builders Association, Texas Association of Builders, National Association of Home Builders, and the Lindale Area Chamber of Commerce. Red Construction and Development LLC stands behind the exceptional quality of their work and have the expertise, the resources, and dedication to deliver the results you need on time and on budget. To learn more, give them a call at 903-630-8660 or visit them online at redconstructiondevelopment.com.
Okay, all right, we're back.
We're back.
With Jono.
Allegedly.
Yes, a Suerte. And now we have the Suerte de Anejo.
See,
Yes, and I'm going to enjoy that for sure.
it's a good one.
Yes, I don't know if I've had the Suerte Anejo, so
Well, that's a personal problem.
yeah, well, it's my problem.
I
I need to shop at a store like Boot and Holler that
right.
carries it in stock and is also a sponsor.
Yes, sir.
So before we adjourned, we had a question from the crowd that asked a little bit about aging of agaves.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about your brand or maybe brands that are similar to yours and how you guys are selecting agaves compared to maybe a larger producer.
Yeah, so we'll just kind of, with not specific to us or anyone in particular, just kind of in general, the differences between small producers and big producers. When you're making tequila the way that we are,
Yeah.
Obviously you care about when I talk to people, like, the way that tequila is made really matters, which sounds dumb, because, like, the way that every spirit is made matters. But with bourbon, you grow the corn in one season, you grow the rye in one season, and then you distill it, and then you age it from 2 to 11 years, whatever your sweet spot is, right? We'll call it 4 to 6. With tequila, so you're 4 to 6 year old product, you put 4 to 6 years on it, you sell as so. With tequila, a Blanco tequila it's a 6-year product basically if you're doing it the way we're doing it, because you have to grow the agave for 6 years before you can harvest it. And then if you age it, that's another 7 months for a reposado, another year to 3 years for the anejo. So you can have an anejo that is really a 9 or 10 year old product, but it says 3 on the label because of the age the time it took to raise the agave. And we talked about earlier, some of the big guys, they can do a batch of tequila in a matter of hours. That's because they're using younger agave, more immature agave. And the difference between those is when you're using, something like a diffuser, a bigger industrial process, you can break down and convert those sugars really efficiently and really easily. And so you're able to use a younger agave that isn't as mature. Versus us, we're doing it, by hand with the Tohono wheel. So we need a 6-7-year-old agave that's really mature. It's ready to be broken down. It's a ripe banana versus a non-ripe banana. So that's basically the easiest difference between it. When you're doing the big batches and stuff like that, and you can kind of cut corners here and there, you can get away with using a lesser agave. Because then you can kind of cover it up and maybe add a little bit of sweetener here, a little bit of a flavor texturing there, and that covers it up. So whenever I tell people, how can you tell? It's the hard part, how do you taste 100% agave tequila? There's no...
Yeah, there's not much of a hangover.
Yeah, but there's no official, tasting route. There's no guide to, hey, here's what it tastes like, right? Because, again, our tequilas taste different batch to batch. So it's one of those things I say you just have to jump into it with both feet. You really just kind of have to start tasting a bunch of those 100% agaves, finding out what those taste like, and then you go back to something else that's a little sweeter, and you're like, oh, I can taste the artificialness in that.
Right.
You just literally begin to taste it and train yourself. There's the method where you can put it on your hands and rub them together, and if there's no stickiness, it's not a foolproof way.
Yeah.
It's not 100%. So it's really, I truly believe that like once you start to kind of train your palate for that stuff, you pick it up very easily.
Oh, 100%.
Where someone will kind of operate bottle, I'm like, I just don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a jerk.
Yeah.
I know I'm not going to like it. I know that's not my style.
Right.
It's not that it's bad, because that's why I say there are bad tequilas. But there's mostly no bad tequila, because it's just not my style. If someone likes it, then absolutely great. Feel free to drink. I'm never going to put someone down for liking a certain product.
Yeah, my favorite example of this is Addictivo. It's like I go in there and you suggest it. It's an añejo or an extra añejo, which I know is going to be sweet, typically, because it's got a lot of barrel influence. But it literally means additive. And it's like, I don't want that. Like, why would you want that? Let's talk about additive free versus additives, because that's a big thing in the tequila world right now. There's a snottiness, or whatever you want to call it, where to me it's kind of on par with, well, that's a Kentucky bourbon, and that's and that's MGP, and that's not from Kentucky, that's from Texas. And so everybody's kind of drawing lines right now on, well, I really like Casamigos because it's really sweet and I really enjoy it. And the traditionalists are like, gives me a headache and I know what's in it. Yeah. So I'm calling them out because they have so much, but
Yeah.
anyway, and they're always locked up, and I'm like, why are you locking these guys up? Because
they get stolen a lot.
yeah, you get stolen a lot. They're kind of in the same. They're kind of in the same zone as Crown.
Yeah.
Or Hennessy in some ways.
Yep.
They're always locked up because they get stolen.
Yeah.
And because it's super sweet.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything to do with being like
And agaves just don't all of a sudden get sweet. Like they do it in ways that are manipulated. So
that's where I always say, if you taste, you can't cover up a bad Blanco.
right.
You can't. If you taste a Blanco, if you ever want to know if a brand is good, start with their Blanco.
Yeah.
Because if it tastes like a tequila, if it tastes like something you're used to, like drinking like Suerte, it's probably a well-made product.
Yeah.
And there is no agave dough that grows and tastes like vanilla and bubble gum. There's just doesn't exist. If you do, you'll be a billionaire if you find that agave and it's natural.
Right.
But that's not the case. So that's where really, if you want to, I wasn't a big Blanco guy back in the day. I come from bourbon, so I gravitated toward the añejos, the reposados.
Yeah.
But when you ask, I drink like 20 times more Blanco than anything else now, just because I love that tequila flavor. It's the roasted agave. It tastes just like agave. It's very unique. It's very distinct, and it's a really great smooth sip. It shouldn't have a burn to it. If you're going to get anything, it should be. If you're anything close to a burn, it's going to be like black pepper.
Yeah.
It comes from the spirit being distilled. It's not because it was cut with water and it created a harsh chemical reaction. People don't realize that when you get the burn from an alcohol, it's typically because there was a reaction when it was cut with the water. And that flavor is where that comes from, is when the cutting from the water actually happens. So that's why you can have something that's like a 90 proof bourbon and it might drink hotter than like 120 proof cask strength bourbon, just because that hash strength has that natural properties of the oil and the acidities and the fats that keep it tasting the way it does. Versus when you cut something with water, you can create that interaction that actually produces that burn. So I got really tangent off of the side there.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah,
Dude, I'm a nerd right here. I'm barreling stuff at my house. Come on.
So, but I mean, that's, most of our products, all of our products except for one are the 80 proof, and that's the standard for tequila. We've recently come out. I guess it's been a year and a half now with the still strength.
Yeah, I love it.
It's night.
I had plenty of that.
Yes,
for sure.
It's incredible. And it's night and day different from the normal Blanco, and the only
104
was water. Yep.
104 proof?
104 versus 80. And same product, just water added to one, not the other.
Right.
And where the 80 proof Blanco is like citrusy, sweet, limey, the 104 proof is like cinnamon red spice. It's like dried red fruits and cinnamon. So, and the only difference there is the water interaction. So, I forgot your question, but
Additive free.
Additive free.
Why is it as
Because
well, I'll get you back to it.
Thank you.
That's why I have the card.
That's right. It's always got to keep trainers.
Yeah.
So I mean, what you drink and the way that distilled matters, right? Because you taste it, you feel it. So if you drink, a bottle of our stuff versus a bottle of something else that's known to have additives, you're gonna wake up probably feeling different.
Yeah.
One versus the other. And it's just the addition of like some of those sugars or fake sugars.
Yeah.
A type 1 diabetic, for me, I always say it's better to drink something that has like a little bit of real sugar, which alcohol shouldn't. There isn't, there should never be really any alcohol in your distilled spirits. For beer and stuff, that's different. But with distilled spirits, there really shouldn't be any carbohydrates. And so when you're adding in those simple fake sugars, you're gonna feel it. Your body's gonna process it differently.
Yeah, I liken it to like a cheap bottle of wine may have phosphates, lead, and things like that. If you're buying cheaper tequilas, then you're subjecting yourself to the same kind of
most likely
potentially.
And that's why it comes down to, because again, we're half the cost of most of the guys doing what we do.
Right.
So it doesn't always mean expensive doesn't mean good, and cheap doesn't mean bad. I had to learn the term affordable, because cheap is, relatively, it's negated to being a bad thing. But when you say affordable, it kind of puts into point, this is a good product, it just doesn't cost you a whole lot of money. And so most of the stuff, it's hard to find a good $20 tequila. I feel pretty comfortable saying that, a good $20, $25 tequila.
30s is about as cheap as you're going to get.
Yeah, everything that I'm going to buy is, $30 or more. Yeah. So and that's why we try and stay right at that price of 30, 35, so we can be that entry level, your go-to.
Yeah. Another entity that kind of measures purification and kind of puts things on a level is CRT in tequila. Yep. So can you break down CRT for us a little bit?
Yeah, so it's the Control Regulatory Board for Tequila. So they literally regulate the rules of tequila. Anytime you are qualified as tequila, you will have what's called a CRT NOM number. And so if you look on a bottle of tequila, it's going to have a 4-digit code. Ours is 1530. So that's our registration number, basically.
That's like your zip code.
It's like your social security number, really.
Okay.
Because it identifies this came from this distillery.
Yeah.
So when you look on like a box of bourbon, it'll say DSP-KY002. And that'll identify the distillery. It's the same thing for us. It's just NOM-CRT. Instead of the DSP in the state, it's CRT NOM number. So it's always a 4-digit number. And so that's when I say, there's some distilleries making 200 brands. You can look up that brand and see they make
the NOM that comes from.
Yeah, you can look up that 4-digit NOM on their bottle, and you can find 180 other bottles on the aisle that have that same 4-digit number. When you pick up a bottle of Suerte, it's the only bottle that's going to say 1530 on it. So that's why it's important to us. That's the only product we make at our distillery. It's a real rarity. And so for the CRT, in order to make tequila, you have to be registered with them, and you have to, follow the rules that they imply. And one of those being, I didn't even, you learn something new every day, right? I've been doing this for a couple of years.
Man, I'm in the pawn business.
Look, I say I've been doing this a couple of years. I'm kind of still new to this industry.
Right.
But I feel like I know a lot. And I was still surprised to learn that, like, when you walk through a Kentucky warehouse, you can open up a barrel here, you can open up a barrel there, you can taste whatever you want. When you go down to Mexico, every single barrel that's laid down has a tag over the top that the CRT has sent to a distillery, and that you have to register and say, hey, this sticker went on this barrel. So you can't just go and open up barrels and taste what you want, because you have to have a CRT representative there or their approval to basically open up those barrels. So that way, it helps to cut down, or is supposed to, in theory, cut down on the idea of, anything being added post-distillation, messing with those barrels, whether good or bad, in any type of way. So they really are, it's not just like a side thing that we kind of have to obey by. Like, if you're going to make tequila and you're going to sell it, you've got to go through the CRT and the regulations. So they decide what basically can and can't be put on a label, what you can and can't put in your tequila, what qualifies as tequila. So they are, as their name says, the regulatory board for the industry in Mexico.
They're like bottled and bond. Some ways.
In a way, yeah. If it has a NOM on it, you can know that that's a tequila that was produced at a registered distillery.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean it's 100% agave, but it means that it was made at a registered distillery.
Right.
There's others, if you can make tequila and not be registered, because there's some kind of fee that comes. I don't know if it's annual or what, but you do have to pay a fee to be part of the CRT. So you can make tequila not registered, but then you have to be sold underneath the agave distillate, or the agave
Can't be
spirit.
called.
You can't call it tequila. Yeah. So even if you follow all the rules of making tequila and you're made in the right region, everything like that, if you're not registered with them, you can't call it tequila on your label.
Gotcha. Very cool. So I'm gonna break what we talked about, and let's talk a little bit about ready to drink RTDs. We're gonna use RTDs as the acronym, and you guys make a phenomenal RTD.
Thank you.
Ready to drink spirit seltzer.
Yep.
And it's my
It's not
favorite.
a seltzer.
Is it not?
It says on the can, it says, please don't call it a seltzer.
Yeah, please don't call us up. Sorry.
And the difference there,
Obviously, I can't read. I've had 3 Suertes.
it's carbonated water. It's
Carbonated water.
Yeah, and that's the difference. So
Let's just say that it's don't call me seltzer. Don't okay. It says new drinks to impress your friends. That's all it says.
well, hopefully we're doing that.
Life is good too. So
Feels good.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So talk to us a little bit about these.
So these are.
By the way, we're gonna after you tell us a little bit about this, we're gonna let the crowd sample these.
we're gonna drink some. Hell yes, absolutely.
You're gonna like them a lot.
So what I always tell people is, it's a tough category, like just from the start, because there are a couple brands that exploded the category, and everyone came out with one. And so I understand it's a bloated category. So when I walk into someone's store and I'm like, trust me, it's really good, I'm automatically behind the 8 ball, right? And so when I first got hired, and these were brand new, they weren't in the market yet. My boss sent me some. I put it in my little fridge. I sat down to watch some TV, and I pulled the first one out, took a crack of it, and I took a sip. And like as soon as I put it back down on the table, I reached back for it, where I was like, I want that again. And the difference was when I would work at Specs and people would drop me off some samples to try, I'd take them home really excited. This is going to be the one I'm going to like, It would always taste like aluminum, or it would taste like fake sugar sweetness,
Or water.
Yeah, and I never found one where I was like, yeah, I'm going to go buy these.
Yeah.
And so when I sat down with these, and I took the first sip, I put it down, and I immediately was like, I want that again. It wasn't like, do I like that? It was just immediately like, no, I want more of that. And so I was like, okay. I opened up the next one, tried it, same exact, every single one of them. I was like, these are incredible. I want to keep drinking them. And I drank all 3 of them one night, just like without thinking about it. So we have a ranch water. I didn't bring one tonight. We are going to eventually be changing that recipe sometime probably this year.
So tonight we have margarita.
The margarita and the Paloma.
And the Paloma. The Paloma's amazing, by the way. I got lucky. So, yeah, it's the best.
It is amazing because the margarita, when I tried it the first time, I was like, that is my style margarita. I like a limey, kind of almost a little more bitter margarita.
Yeah.
It hits you in the cheeks. And then I tried the Paloma, and I find myself drinking more Palomas than anything else. I don't want to put the margarita down because it's incredible. Paloma is just incredible.
It's incredible. The other thing about these is 7% compared to 5 and 6%. Hello.
Yep.
Yes. I'm a little happier.
It doesn't take a whole bottle.
Yes.
They go
12 ounce. Great label. I love the labels. They've got the fruits in the rabbit,
Yep.
which I think is pretty cool.
Again, our marketing wizard, Leslie.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done a great job here. So we're going to let these folks sample this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to take one last break, and then we'll come back. Okay? Cool.
Hey, is y'all spring water?
Okay, we're back with our friend Jono for the 4th time with Suerte. I poured something else mysterious here, which is the French Oak.
That's a good one.
From the North Texas Tequila Club.
That's a rare one.
They did a really good job on this, by the way.
Yeah.
And unbelievably, the price on this is just nuts. I'm not even going to talk about that.
I had to pull a string or two to get that one.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for those strings. So we talked a little bit about the RTDs. When I call it a seltzer, because carbonated water,
They're canned cocktails.
and cocktails. Perfect. And everybody liked it, right? Pretty good. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. I think we got everybody's approval. Paloma.
Yum, yum.
Paloma. Margarita. Margarita. And I think Martha was Paloma. Josh, Paloma or Margarita? Margarita? He's big. What do you like the best? Margarita?
I can't pick a favorite child.
Okay. Well, I like the Paloma. So I'll be the fighter.
It depends. It literally depends on my mood.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm always in the mood for the flow.
Yep.
For sure. So let's talk a little bit about new releases.
Okay.
You guys have a couple cool things that you text me, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay, so walk us through what you've got coming up.
So talking about the RTDs, we've got. Well, first of all, we got the new mango Rita coming out.
Mango.
Yeah. So apparently mango is a really hot flavor in RTDs.
Okay.
From what our research has shown. So we decided to come out with a mango Rita, and it's really good. It's a little,
We're not going to take your word for it.
Yeah, no.
There is in the bag.
Yeah, I don't. There is yet. It's not ready yet.
Okay.
But we're basically going through like the shelf stabilization process, all that stuff, make sure that it's ready to go to market.
Okay.
But like flavoring and everything like that, it's really good. It's a little bit sweeter than I think the Margarita and the Paloma. So if you're one of those people that's like, oh, it's a little too bitter, the mango is definitely going to be your alley. But the second one that will have out later into the year is going to be the new ranch water. It's going to replace the existing one. Reason being is that the current ranch water, it's like if you're really nerdy, you're an agave purist like me, you absolutely love it because it's literally just water and tequila.
Right.
There's no lime. So when you're out on a boat, when you're out on the golf course, it's really refreshing on a hot day.
Right.
But half the market is like, that's a real ranch water. The other half of the market is like, that's not a real ranch water.
Right.
So it's our product that won Best of Class at San Francisco World Spirits. So when it comes to Singapore, San Francisco, and New York, when they all decide their best products, they go head-to-head against each other. And the ranch water actually beat out the Paloma and another brand to win Best of Show at San Francisco World Spirits competition. But those are agave purists.
I think they were hammered.
Nerds like us, like it's a really good product, and so we decided to add that pinch of lime so that it can kind of be more appealing to everybody. So it's in between the previous ranch water and kind of the margarita. It's got that hint of lime instead of being like limey in your cheeks like the margarita.
I'm excited about that.
Unfortunately, not shelf space. Yeah, support it if you like
Yeah,
it.
start stocking out.
Yeah, start buying it.
Clear the shelves.
As far as new tequila, so last year we came out with a single barrel program. We sold the single barrel reposados. Those are 7 to 8 months.
I may have been a part.
You might have got those barrels. Yeah, you guys actually got one of the first 10 barrels we released.
Yeah.
So really cool for you guys for that.
And Amanda, I think, was part of that too, right?
She was. Yep.
Was it one of the allegedly, sorry, I indicted you.
I like the friendship movies.
Yep.
To say it.
But we were part of one of the first 10 barrels that were purchased.
Yep. And y'all got I really enjoyed y'all's barrel.
Yeah.
That went through Hoot and Holler for East Texas Whiskey Club. Yeah. Yep. So this year, we still got the single barrel program. We've got a couple.
We've already bought a barrel.
Might be another one coming.
Yes.
Yeah. Thankfully, you guys appreciate that.
Yeah. Already buying another one.
Our newest SKU is going to be a extra añejo that's aged for 11 years. And so there isn't really anything that I know that exists like it so far, especially with
6-year-old agave.
Yep.
Cooked and barreled for 11 years.
Yep. So we did 7 years.
Or it's barreled for
11 years.
Okay.
Yep. So it was 7 years in those 7 whiskey barrels.
Those are old process.
Yeah. If you put all the years combined, 17, 18 years old.
Wow.
And so, and it's not going to be cheap, but it's not going to be as expensive as some of the other stuff that's come out that's even, half as aged. So, it was 7 years in our used whiskey barrels, and then the last 4 years was done in French oak. And so it's two single barrels. Yeah. I was lucky enough to taste them side by side. I haven't tasted them since we blended them, but really cool side by side. That one was like, oh, this is like your 7-year añejo that we have out now, aged for an additional 4 years. It's just I picked up some more of that complexity. The other one was kind of like a syrupy cognac, like the way that French oak that it imparted on it. You would literally, like when I tried it, I was like, this is like a syrupy cognac. Yeah, it was really good. So I think between the two of them, you're going to get that blend of kind of the oak and the sweetness. And it should be a really good product, but I'm really excited for it. It's going to have this really cool black label. It's like a black and a silver label.
Any idea on MSRP or?
It'll probably be like $300. Right there, $399. Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be the most premium product we've ever put out. But look, they're some of the first barrels we aged.
I'm in it.
11 years old.
Amanda, put me on a list.
We're a 12-year-old brand. So they're literally some of the first barrels, for the first year that we were making tequila that we've aged for this long. So, and there's only 2 barrels, so there'll be 350, 400 bottles if we're lucky. So it's not going to be a big release, but it's it's something really special, something that we're really proud of.
You gonna put it in the box, or?
Yeah, it's got its own little custom little packaging. Right? It's not just going to be a bottle out there on the shelf. So
it's going to be like Trip Daddy, all that.
It's really nice.
Had chains that are kind of hanging off of it.
Not that far, but. Yeah, I mean, it's got a really nice packaging, and of course, the liquid inside, we're happy to stand behind it.
Yeah.
So, sure, if you're a fan of those extra aged, añejos, it's gonna hit you're gonna love it.
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about, you do a lot of events. I know not here in East Texas, mostly in DFW, but talk to us a little bit about some events that you have coming up. You have one on April 20th. Is that the next one, or do you have something coming sooner?
I don't know if I have anything directly sooner. We just did a dinner last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I hosted like 103 people at Cantina Laredo. That was awesome. Then we're trying to looking at doing an event. We have to finalize the details, so I'm not going to release the place, but looking at doing an event on April 20th.
Can you give us a zip code?
It'll be Plano, right on the Plano-Dallas border.
Okay.
Right there. It's a cool little sub shop. So, but after that, I've got Cinco de Mayo. I'm going to be down in McAllen, Texas, so I'll be down south. There's a place called Suerte Bar and Grill that, they've been good partners of ours, or friends of ours for a lot of years, obviously, sharing the same name. And then the next day, May 6th, I'll be doing a dinner at a whiskey library in Corpus Christi. So they've got a bunch of other events throughout the year. So really, I enjoy doing the dinners and the events because they're kind of like this, but it's an intimate setting where we're doing a 4-course paired meal. I get to kind of go table to table, talk to people, about Suerte. And I love talking about the brand. I love talking about spirits. So it's, nothing's better than drinks, food, and good conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a big fan of that part of the job. I know Plaid Rabbit out here locally, they've been great supporters of us.
Yeah.
Trying to see if, any place that we want to work with, always open to do an event. So happy to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're ever in Marshall, you have a new spot, Rosario's.
Okay.
It's the owner of Pizzeria by Pietro's.
Rosario.
Rosario.
In where?
Marshall, Texas.
In Marshall, Texas. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. I guess they're a good partner.
Big Suerte.
That's a little bit of a drive for you.
Yeah, hey, I'll do it. No place is too small.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and honestly, that's being a small brand like us. I really do mean, no place is too small.
I definitely see us partnering up with this new East Texas Tequila Club.
Yeah.
To do some samplings and things like. We had some text traffic today about that. Just instead of doing barrel leases for clubs, a couple of clubs have done a really good job of doing events.
Yes.
And so you bring them in, you have the food, then you have an event where everybody kind of gets together and everybody kind of talks about your product, and it ends up giving your product a groundswell, and it really kind of puts some pressure on some of these storefronts to put your product on the shelf.
Yeah.
Because that's really, to me, that's the harder part. Because if you buy the bottle and you taste it, you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's more about okay, can I sell this product from the storefront standpoint, especially if they have certain SKUs that they know that are moving it.
Yep.
And so how do I replace this with that if I only have certain amount of floor space? And and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, I mean, it's the core of building a brand, right? It's, there's a million tequilas. There's a new celebrity tequila every day.
yeah,
And so it's,
Pantalones.
yep.
It's what I'm like, what?
And some of them are trying to do it right. I saw, it kills me. I can't remember his name right now. Kenny Powers.
Yeah.
He's got a new.
Danny McBride has a tequila.
Danny McBride has a 100% agave tequila. So, but
Yeah.
it's coming in trying to explain.
Tastes like the dunes.
Try to explain. Hey, we're a good brand. Here's why you should care about us. No, we're not brand new. We've been around for 12 years. We've kind of just been content being a small brand.
Yeah.
Now we really want to get Suerte out there and really spread the gospel of Suerte and why you should love it. Which I think. If you're willing to try, I'm like the curious cat, man. I'll try anything once, because I'm just curious. I want to know. It's better to say I've tried it and describe why you don't like it than to just kind of turn your nose up at it. So if you can get someone to try your brand, they're almost always in.
Yeah.
I had one guy recently tell me I can't put it in my well because it's too flavorful for my customer base. I was like, oh, come on, man. He's like, no. He's like, they kind of want like a neutral vodka tequila. He's like, they want to drink tequila, but they want it to taste like vodka. So, okay, fair enough. This is not a problem I anticipated ever having, but I'll take it. I'm too good at putting your well. I'll take it. So, I mean, it's a really great product, and I'm really lucky and thankful to be able to stand behind them because the other cool part is we own. I don't know if I talked about this earlier, but when we partnered up with Pedro, I call it a partnership because we bought 85% of the distillery. If we didn't buy the distillery, we bought 85%. So every bottle of Suerte that we sell. Every bottle that you buy directly benefits Pedro. When we go down there to go to the distillery, him and his son, they're all driving brand new trucks. The distillery workers got nicer street bikes than I've got. It's really cool knowing that there's a good life being lived at the factory by the workers, and that we kind of get to contribute to that by every bottle we sell too. So it's a really cool family company. That's one of the things when I first got hired. I came from kind of like my family always went to chains. We were always eating Red Lobster, Outback Steakhouse. And I met my wife, and she was like, oh, we don't do that at all. We only eat local. And so kind of growing up, and now whenever we go out somewhere, we only eat local. It was really cool to be able to work for a small family company. It's really passionate about what we do. So I just absolutely love the brand, and any chance I can get to talk about it, I will.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, so before we do shout-outs for you, I'm going to do a quick shout-out. Okay? That's just kind of the way I like to end all these podcasts. I got lucky to be selected, and you helped me get on a group to Guadalajara and then to Tequila. And I got to fly over to Guadalajara, which my wife was afraid of, your mom. She wanted me to fly with someone else, so I found Scott, the owner of Hoot and Holler, and so I met him, and then we fly over, and then we go to Tlaquepaque or Tlaquepaque.
Yeah, we'll get it one of these days.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And so when you go there, they're super nice. We stop there, and then
Just real quick, Tlaquepaque is it's on the outside of Guadalajara, but Guadalajara has grown so much that's kind of just become part of Guadalajara.
Right.
But it's like it's
a European style town.
I want to say it's like it's like a farmer's market, but it's an outdoor strip mall and farmer's market combined, but like a European market setting. It's really cool. I mean, there's really handcrafts. They've got like someone will set up a bookshop and they'll sell used books.
Part of Bourbon Street kind of in it, where you have like people painted. Like they're frozen people, and so you can take pictures with them, and of course they want you to pay them, which is cool. That
very artsy.
Yeah, it's very cool. You walk around, I don't feel worried at all.
It's a beautiful place. Yeah,
and so we stopped there, and then we go to Tequila, and had a great time there. Went to 3 awesome distilleries. They treated us like royalty. We go to glass blowing bottle place. It was amazing. We leave there and we come back to Guadalajara and we go to wrestling, which was Lucha Libre, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
I got slapped in the middle of it. That was,
On the podcast, and maybe you're on the video.
Yeah, for sure. Like this girl gets thrown out of the ring. They put me in the front because I'm the white guy, and then she like acts like she slaps me, and I act like playing the theater. It was so great. It was just a great trip. And I get back, and my wife was so afraid, and I'm coming back going, I'm ready to go again. I even got, after they act like they slapped me, they came down and they were like, hey, can we get you anything because you did such a great job? And so they got me a Lucha Libre mask, and I sent a picture to everybody, and oh my God, I look ridiculous. He's got the mask. So it's kind of like one of those things where when you have too much tequila, you put the mask on. It's kind of like your Lucha Libre mask.
That selfie, Scott has a shirt on. It was like,
oh yeah, it's so good. But thank you, Maverick. You guys did a great job of, kind of helping host that meet and greet. It was amazing. It was a great trip. I don't know if I'll ever make that trip again because my wife won't let me. And
she's out of debt.
And she will not go because there's no beach involved. So, and thanks to Beckham for letting us do this. This is so much fun. I really enjoy it. What about you? Shout outs. What do you have? Mentors, family, friends?
I got a couple of people. First of all, my boss Tom for hiring me. I say that he's a really great guy. He stands behind me like every step of the way. Anytime I kind of have a question, we talk it out, and he's just a really great boss and mentor to have. I couldn't ask for someone else different. Our company owner is the same way. I work for a great group of people. They take care of me, they look out for me, and they care about what we do. It's not just selling tequila. It's selling Suerte. It's spreading the good word of why we care what we do. Shout out to them because I really do love what I do, and it's obviously you got to have. I learned early on. You enjoy your job, and kind of a boss can make or break how you feel at your job. So I'm very thankful to have who I do have as my mentors. I got a buddy, Phil, who, he's been in this industry for a long time. And anytime I got a question about anything, whether it's industry related or I need help with a cocktail, I reach out to him, and he always answers his phone. Hey, buddy, what you need? Hey, can you help me out with this? Absolutely, come over tomorrow. So we'll get together. So I've been really lucky that I've made a lot of meaningful relationships in this industry, and for some reason people are willing to lend me their ear and lend advice when they have. And so there's a million other people, but just really thankful to I think those people in particular who have kind of given me a shot, and then my buddy who's always trying to help me out anywhere he can. Right. Maverick, they're a great distributing partner. They sell our product for us, so I could honestly spend all day talking about people I'm thankful for.
Yeah, man.
So I appreciate you and for having us, the Beckham for having us, everybody else for showing up.
Yeah, man.
So
it's been a blast. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks
out here in East Texas.
Hopefully on the third.
Yeah, for sure. I really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for coming on. Thank you guys for coming in. Al, I really enjoyed it. Hope you guys have too. Get something to eat before you leave.
Nobody swears it.
Yeah,
Suerte. Buena suerte.
All right. I really enjoyed this podcast. Our next podcast will be in this same room. We have Alan Patton coming on for our third episode. He is a retired homicide detective. So you guys, if you're into homicides, true crime, he's a true crime, and he's a good one to come on for. So looking forward to that one. We'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Yes. Great job.
Hey, you're great. Appreciate you. Really, yeah.
Yep. Hopefully.